Hey, welcome to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man, Rod Loving. Boy, do we have a show for you tonight? I don't know. On my right, no, on my left, we got the General, and on my right, we got Doc Polite, and we ready to go tonight. I'm right.
Yeah, once again, it's on. Brother Love, Doc Polite, man. How y'all weekend this past weekend?
Well, Doc, somebody went fishing and didn't call me.
Well, it wasn't it wasn't fishing because can you really call it fishing if you didn't catch anything?
Yeah, that's why they call it fishing, because you're fishing for something. So, he tried you, man. He tried you, Doc.
I know, right? Isn't that something?
But I did go out there. It was hot. The boat ran good, but I didn't catch it. I didn't even get a nibble.
What were you trying to catch?
Brim. I was not trying to catch any catfish. I was not trying to catch any gar. I was just trying to catch some brim.
What time of day?
I was out there at 8 o'clock, and I know some folks say get out there, 6 o'clock, but I was out there around 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm about to say, man, that's too late. I don't even fish.
That's too late.
Hey,
I don't even fish. I know that's too late.
A bunch of gators, though.
Yeah, because they ate all the fish.
Hey, you should have been out in that water about 4:30 to 7. 7, it would have been dying out. Get up there close to them little lily pads. And
yeah, but the last thing you want to do is to try to be bringing the boat in to dock it on the ramp 7 o'clock, and everybody else is trying to beat the rain, trying to beat you at the ramp. That's the last thing you want to do.
Well, see, most of the people come out later. You gotta go out later in the evening. That's the best time, really.
Hold on, but before we go into that, what's you and Greg's credential when y'all talking about fishing? I mean, you.
Well, I'm so good they gave me a lifetime fishing license. How's that for credentials?
Okay, I'll take that.
I don't have to ever renew mine.
Hey, we know somebody from Greg is Tallahassee, not Jacksonville.
No, don't put me no Jacksonville, man. What's wrong with you?
Hey, listen, that boy is from Tallahassee and Brunswick. And I know damn well
No. See, I'm from Perry, Taylor County, Florida, and I grew up in Tallahassee. So when you ask about my credentials,
when you born in Brunswick?
No. I grew up in Brunswick. I went to Brunswick when I was 5 months old,
and I grew up there in your DNA. Okay,
I'm not denying. But listen, anytime you put anything with Greg Jackson, you got to start with Perry, Taylor County, Florida, then Tallahassee. You understand what I'm saying?
All right,
so my credentials. When you ask about my credentials, Brother Love, Perry, Taylor County, Florida gives me my credentials on all things wilderness.
All things, okay.
All things wilderness.
I don't even know where Perry, Taylor County, Florida is. That's Perry, Florida.
You know it is, yeah. You know it is.
Okay. You said, you tripped me with the Perry Taylors, but Perry is the Taylor County.
Yeah, and then the Taylor County. Yeah, listen.
Okay, okay. I know what Perry is.
So before we get down to any of the nitty gritty,
Rod, that ain't country. That's country.
Hey, tell them about all things wilderness. I'm telling you, all things wilderness.
There's some good people up there. That's salt of the earth people. My people come right out of Levi County.
Okay.
So,
down the way. Down the way.
Let me say this. Although I was out on the boat, man, something beautiful happened over the last few days. And as we're getting older, man, I certainly appreciated it. Tomorrow will be Mrs. Love's birthday.
Okay.
And you know what? I stood down because we were going to Destin. And then, what do you know? Those two Love girls were like, hey, we want to go with Mom too. So I let them go do a Waiting to Exhale together. And man, I tell you, pictures that I saw was just, man, it was good to see Mom with the daughters, and these daughters have grown up, man.
That's nice, man. That's awesome. That's got to be
what
awesome.
Did you do, Greg? What did you do this weekend?
Listen, man, I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I'm preparing for trial. So I was in trial last week. So I was preparing that weekend, and I'm in trial this week. So I'm preparing this weekend, this past weekend. I'm in trial next Monday. So listen, I've been, I guess you want to say, elevated to the trial department for the firm. And that means that I go around the state trying cases, doing the stuff I love to do, man.
Hey, but they got the right person.
Congratulations.
They got the right person. Hey, so here's something I love to dive right into. And Greg, give us the lowdown on this frat deal. What is the frat house cocaine ring?
Well, listen, before we do that, man, we got to let folks know that they're tuned into 1, 2, 3 of the most influential voices in Central Florida on their Monday night podcast, Brother Love, Greg Jackson, and Doc Polite, only because we invited him to the party, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. If you want to be a part of tonight's podcast, all you got to do is use those Twitter fingers to go on Facebook to be a part of the night show. Brother Love, Doc Polite, Greg Jackson, the duo of the Monday night podcast. Brother Love, Doc Polite, let's get it on.
Get it on. All right, brother.
All right.
So listen. Listen. So if people thought that hazing was bad and that black fraternities was bad, something came out of, was it Pennsylvania? I forget the name of it. I forget the school now because it was so incredible. Which one?
Penn State?
Yeah, Pennsylvania. Yeah. So it is so unbelievable what was found out this past week. But at a university, they found that this fraternity had a cocaine operation going on, and it was one of the fraternity brothers, and apparently his dad has been looped into it. But they were using the pledgees to help to distribute and make sales, not weed. All right. When I was in college, we used to drink a lot. We ain't talking about drinking and underage drinking. We're talking about the big time cocaine drugs that these kids were using and filtering through a fraternity.
So Greg, let me ask you this question. And Doc brought this up, Mondo brought this up earlier. Man, we see our punch notes. We've heard about what's taking place with this. This is in your area. Would this qualify for RICO?
You know what? I would say yes. And this may not just be a state level RICO case because of the reach. Because my understanding is that this was not just a localized operation. That this went across county lines, state lines. With not just the distribution, but also bringing in the drug. So this is probably going to be a case that is on the federal level, not to mention it happened at a university. So I'm sure that from some type of standpoint, the feds are going to come in and say, because it happened at a university, the university received federal dollars, so we're going to take jurisdiction over this thing. This is a huge deal, but it's just absolutely unbelievable, man. People leave home, people leave bad situations to go to school, get an education so they don't have to be out there hustling. These guys are in school for the primary purpose of hustling.
So Greg, here's something Doc Polite and I was saying. Greg, these guys was actually packaging, the pledges were packaging this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Greg, is that a legal defense? Say, I thought it was just my initiation? No.
No. A crime is a crime. A crime is a crime.
And
Greg,
what RICO is?
So RICO is an organized crime statute. It's a state as well as a federal act to where someone can be brought up on charges. That's something that they try to bring Puff Daddy up on because they're saying that there was an organized crime or an organized fashion in which he was doing the freak offs and different things like that. But these guys, when you have a group of individuals that have come together to be a part of a criminal enterprise, they can be prosecuted under RICO, under the RICO laws, RICO, RICO.
Well, this thing, Greg, it looks like it's gonna get bigger as time goes on, man. Because this multi-state, and we're talking millions of dollars, right?
Yeah. This was not a small time operation.
How rare is this? Do you think, or do you think that this is something that? Oh yeah.
Yeah, extremely rare. Now, listen. Let me say, I'm not going to say that. So let me say this. I don't want to say that fraternities do illegal acts. So I'm going to say that this is very rare. But if they do things like this, they're doing things like contribute to the delinquency of a minor with alcohol, at the parties and things like that. They're doing things like marijuana, like selling weed and different things like that. This is probably the first time that we have heard of a college fraternity using the pledges, using the organization of a fraternity, a national organization, in order to sell and distribute narcotics. Not what is marijuana is a class what? Class 3?
I'm not sure.
Whatever the class is, cocaine is way out of that class.
Cocaine is class 1.
Oh yeah, so I think
this has never been. I think weed is like a class 3.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I'm saying I'll just answer your question, man. This is unprecedented. If we hear about something like this happening anywhere else, I would be amazed. This is unprecedented.
Greg, what implication from a national standpoint when you talk about, and we didn't call the fraternity a name or anything, but what implications does that have nationally though on those organizations?
Well, let me say this, because I want my Divine Nine to know that it was not a Divine Nine fraternity. So although we did not call the fraternity's name, this is a PWI,
Yeah,
predominantly white institution fraternity. So this was not, a black fraternity. Like, listen, I know we show out and everything like that, and people look at us and think that we always doing things wrong, but this was not a black or fraternity or sorority on this. But the national implications on this, Brother Love, and that's a great question, is moving forward. Um, Organizations or fraternities are going to be more careful about how they oversee these fraternities because like I said, fraternities get popped a lot for hazing. I mean, they get popped for doing criminal things or things that are considered to be crimes. But when you get to this level of an organized crime, an organized ring of individuals that are selling illegal drugs, they want to make sure, because listen, when you think about it, it's genius. It's absolutely genius. You bring in a group of guys who want to be a part of an organization, want to belong to a group, who will do anything to be a part of this group. You get them to sell and to package drugs and say, hey, listen, we'll cut you in on this and you're going to be our brother. And, when things go along or whatever, we got your back, we have the money and things like that. It's genius how they went about targeting these young men that wanted to be a part of this organization and using them to sell illegal drugs.
Mm.
It's genius. I'm not saying it's right. But it's genius.
I don't know how much y'all know drug gangster history, but it kind of reminds me of the use of dead GIs during Vietnam. That was one of the ways that Frank Lucas,
that's right,
became the king of heroin in the United States.
That's right.
Is by that using GIs and dead people with false bottom coffins and things like that, and they would literally bring that stuff in because it didn't go through customs. Okay, it wasn't inspected, and they did this for years and years, and nobody knew this until finally they caught up with Frank Lucas, and they started. They had to go backwards and find out how he was doing it.
Man.
But he had been doing it for years.
They caught up with him because he got too big.
Yeah.
I mean, if he would have kept his operation small, if he wouldn't have got too flashy, I mean, he could have done it. But here's the problem, though, is that individuals who deal drugs, who sell drugs, and listen, I mean, in the 80s, we all saw it. When the guys started selling, they got flashy, the big cars, the jewelry, the stacks of money and things like that. That's the telltale sign. And so when you start showing and flashing and things like that, you're going to draw people's attention.
Yeah, when you go out and buy the big box Chevy and put the 24-inch rims on it, and you got gold teeth, you're saying, "Look at me, I am a target."
Hey,
but in the case of Frank Lucas, man, it was the chinchilla hat and coat.
And Greg, that's why was Denzel played that role, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did. Denzel Washington.
Yeah,
and he went to a boxing match, and the FBI was there watching some mobsters that were sitting at the front row. Frank Lucas, Denzel played in the movie. He was sitting behind those guys, and what do you call it, Greg? The chinchilla?
No. He was sitting in front of them.
No, because every time the FBI was looking at the mobsters, Frank Lucas was sitting behind the mobsters, but he was still sitting close to the stage. That they saw this guy and was like, "Who is that?"
Oh, well, my bad. Listen, when I saw it, I thought he was sitting in front of him. So
he was sitting in front of him, but he was sitting in a place where he was conspicuous.
Yeah,
there were no other black people sitting there.
Yeah,
that's what got their attention. And then it was from my understanding, it was the New York police who got him, got dirt on him, and then the feds came in.
Yeah.
So it's all about, to me, it's all about like Greg saying, putting yourself out there and putting a cross on your head.
I'll tell you what, something else that has my attention, and Brother Jackson, I'm glad that you're here, because I was saying the doc, all this makes sense to me, but I want you to put it in perspective. 2025, 2026 luncheon, and you have these great gatherings, people are coming together, and you're thinking it's successful because you got a crowd. So if you would put some meat on the bone for Doc and I when you talk about what was accomplished during these gatherings, and when you went there, Greg, what was the intention?
Now, which lunch did you talk about, man? I've been to a bunch of lunches now. Which one in
Well,
particular?
I was looking at this 2025, and I was taking it from the perspective that when we talk about community engagement, you get a lot of folk to come together and they say a lot of things that you want to believe. And it almost, Doc, it almost takes me to this point in time that this discussion about, you and I got into the conversation. What is it called, Doc? Democratic Socialists?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
And so Greg, the topic on this week was a recap of the purpose.
Rod actually had my head hurt, so I'm gonna skip that one.
Listen, what is the 2025, 2026 luncheon, the 2024, 2025 luncheon? It's all the same. I mean, more times than not, when these luncheons take place, you're going to have a lot of folks of influence, of folks that want to give off an air of influence, and they're going to come to these things. They're going to come with ideas. But the biggest thing is when you walk out of that room, when you leave those rooms with those ideas, how do you implement? And the problem is a lot of times with these luncheons, when people walk out of the rooms, there's no follow-up. There's just never really any follow-up. And so because of that, you leave those rooms, you're amped up, you're hyped up, and then 2 weeks later you turn around and it's like, what the heck happened?
But hasn't that become par for the course for many gatherings? Because
Yep.
I could say the same thing about church. A lot of people don't get that. But when you go to church now, you go, you leave good, you feeling good. But if I come to you and say, well, what was the message about? What was the principal emphasis of the message? Most people can't tell you.
But Doc, here's where I gotta just say, since you're taking us to church, I think everybody gets something different. I mean,
but there's always a central in a sermon. A sermon has parts to it, Rod. And what you're trying to do is teach basically a godly principle or lesson based on scripture, right? That's what preaching is about. It's teaching foundational Christian principles. I'm a Christian, so all of us are Christians. So we understand that. But what happens now, it's become performative in many ways. And if you pay attention to it when you go to church, the sermon or the lesson is the least of what's being emphasized. If you listen, and that should be the central lesson. And the way, this is my take on it, the way the church is designed in America is not church. It's something else. It's not the foundational principle or concept of what church should be. Church was about gathering.
When we
learning from one another.
When we talk about this gathering, I think we can all agree, and I'm glad we're talking about this topic. At the end of the day, man, we got to be able to measure what people are feeding us, because one of the topics on here is what commitments were made, and then how do you do the follow-up to see if you actually were successful in making it come to fruition. So I don't know. At the end of the day, we got to do a better job of measuring those commitments and see where we land.
Not only that, Ron Greg, what about holding people accountable for what they say in those situations? Because many times you get people that go up there and make claims and allude to things that aren't true. But if nobody ever fact check them, or there's not a counterpoint, this is what I'm talking about. When you're in church, again, I'm gonna go back to the church analogy. You can't ask the pastor a question. How do you know what the pastor saying is in fact in scripture? He's unchallenged. And that is the problem, because that's not edifying to anyone. If I can't ask you a question, well, how did you come to this conclusion? You say that last year, with you at the helm, we reduced crime 20% in this sector, but you offer no proof. Okay, I can't go and see a report that is independent of what you're saying. You provide no actual or factual information to to validate what you're saying. And we allow this too much. We just people want us to take things at face value. That's why they go to these luncheons and say this stuff. It makes them look good and sound good. But
so let's circle back on one point you made, Doc, and I think you made a really, really good point. But I also think that in the point that you made, it also shows why people have to do their own work and their own research. So, like, say for instance, the point that you're making about when folks go to church and the pastor, whomever says X, Y, Z.
Mhm.
So let me give you an example. So yesterday, and a lot of people don't know this about me. Y'all know I don't share a lot of this stuff. But so yesterday, y'all know I teach Sunday school. I'm assistant superintendent of Bible Discovery and have been since I was 15 years old. That's when I first started. So go to church. We go through the Bible Discovery lesson. Then listen to the sermon, whatever. And then yesterday, while I'm preparing for trial, I sat there and I watched approximately 3 or 4 hours of videos on religion, with different
Mhm.
areas of religion, from Islam to Jehovah's Witness to Christianity, to Judaism. Because when I heard something that was mentioned, I was like, now I got to cross and I got to fact check what I heard. So
Mhm.
I've always been the type of person, even when someone is teaching, I want to make sure that what they're saying is either accurate, can be verifiable, and if not, how do I correct what I've just heard? Now, I used to get in trouble when I was a kid because when I was in
No,
Sunday
I'm telling
school,
you, I was the
yeah,
same way.
listen, because when I was in Sunday school and the Sunday school teacher would say something and I would question her and she couldn't answer my question, they would get mad at me. And I'm like, why are you
Yeah.
getting that mad at
Yeah.
me? Because you can't answer my question. But so when you go to these meetings and these luncheons and what you all are talking about, you're absolutely right. It's a feel good, rah, rah, rah moment. And at the end of it, you never hear the follow up to it. It's always like, hey, we had a great meeting, all this other stuff, but where's the follow up? What are we going to do from here? And that's one of the things that I always liked and I appreciated about FEC, Brother Love, Dr. Randy B. Nelson, because when they went into the community and when these forums were being had, there was always a follow up to it. And when Brother Love was a commissioner, when he would have these community meetings, listen, Brother Love had how many forums you had me emceeing? I think it was like 6,
Quite a few. Quite a few.
because they were follow-ups. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When there was an issue and there was a problem that was brought up and addressed, it wasn't left there. It was, okay, we've identified the problem. All right, so what's the next step? Since we've identified, now let's see the people that can come together to figure out the solution. All right, now we have the people that can figure out a solution. Here's the solution. And that's what people are missing. So people are
So
so
Greg and
caught up
Doc.
and happy with just being in the room.
Yeah. So Greg and Doc, and both of you hit on that point very well. But here's the thing that I've noticed from a community perspective, not so much from a business community, but from a community perspective. When you talk about human services, crime, delinquency, senior citizen service, all of those issues, where I see us falling off at is communities don't have the resources. And come on, we can talk about giving up your time all day long, but unless you have some dedicated resources to do some follow-up to see, when we talk about delinquency, that $20 million that's going into communities every year. Are you looking at the crime index from law enforcement to see what their juvenile arrest numbers are? Is it making an impact on that? Are you looking at homelessness? Are you looking at child welfare? Those numbers should be reflected there, but only the one thing that I realized that's not happening is you got the Pine Hills councilman do an excellent job in the community. One of the things we talked about from a task force perspective is seeding some of those communities with resources so you can have a designated person that's following the numbers, making sure what we say is happening is really happening.
Now, Brother Jackson, I'm gonna pop some on the screen, and I love this graphic last week because it speaks to exactly what you're saying about Brother Love, and that's this.
And appreciate that, Doc. King Solomon Foundation.
Now, he called me, and I instantly went into a breakdown. He didn't have to tell me because it's so self-explanatory. And what I told him is, I don't understand why governments, local governments, and entities that depend on maximizing their tax dollars don't see this type of tool like CPAS as something they should absolutely be utilizing, because this break down the cost avoidance of funding local programs. I've seen this, you guys put together this type of stuff time after time after time for communities, and you come in with a plan, you come in with the research identifying the problem, you come in with the solution, you try and organize and get stakeholders to the table, and every time the stakeholders are the ones who drop the ball. The people who should be stakeholders drop the ball. I want to understand why, because if I was a county and I could look and say, I'm spending $250,000 right here, but it's saving me $2.4 million in realized savings, because it's cost avoidance for incarceration, for interdiction, and all type of social services, that this $250,000 has reduced that. And now I have that money to put somewhere else.
But Doc, I got to tell you this. What I'm realizing is there is an unfortunate delayed effect sometimes with whether it's municipalities or individual realizing talents. One of Greg's talents that he's told people about how he teaches Sunday school, and everybody knows he's a great attorney, but all of a sudden now we're getting calls for one of Greg's talents that nobody really knew about. And, you know, in Volusia County. Now Volusia County is calling saying, hey, we heard y'all talking about that CRA. How do you organize a CRA? How do you get as much out of it? And little did I know, some years back, Greg, I think it was 2018 when Greg started developing the CRA plan, when the state was talking about eliminating CRAs statewide. And Greg, I ain't gonna talk about, what was it, the Walmart greeter?
Yeah, man. People still talking
about that. What's the story about the Walmart greeter?
Greg, you got to tell it.
I mean, listen, the POPCA wanted to divert funds from its CRA, from its CRA TIF dollars, to put a police officer strictly in the CRA district in that area to basically just greet people and to just walk around and to, you know, I guess just to give an air of safety. And so when I heard about it, Brother Love and I, we went to a meeting, and I said, you all are relegating police officers to nothing more than a Walmart greeter. And that money that you get ready to put towards a police officer to just walk around this downtown area, you all should be redirecting those funds to where they really and truly matter, to address slum and blight. You all are singularly focused on this area, and there's an area, if I look down the street, that you all need to be focused on.
But in the end, it didn't happen because, you know, Greg and I did a presentation, and mostly Greg, and he articulated where those dollars could be best used, and also went through their plan, the whole nine. So the long and the short of that story is, if we educate some folk and also make a very strong case, you can really turn the tide on that. Hey, we got a couple of things that's going to really take up some time tonight. So if you gentlemen don't mind, I want to press the gas a little bit. And the next topic, Orange County elections have taken place.
So listen, Brother Love, I mean, this ties into what you're talking about, because you mentioned the word when you said accountability, and accountability comes to fruition at the election box.
Yeah.
And this past week, listen, it was some surprises to some people, not to me, on some things. But there were a number of folks who we've spoken to who came into the studio, either that we have interviewed, who are successful in their elections, and they're moving forward. And so, let's start with, first and foremost, someone who everyone thought was a long shot, which is Roberta Walton Johnson, who was the Democratic, one of the Democratic candidates for Clerk of Court. Yeah. Listen, we were one of the first to bring her in, sit her down, introduce her to Let's Talk Nation, not as a new person to us, but as a person that we felt would be, a great clerk of courts. Now, she has some work ahead of her in terms of the general election, but it's my understanding that the person that she's going to be running against is an MPA, no experience. But I mean, she had to overcome, smear campaigns and all the other stuff that was unnecessary by one of the other candidates. I'm not going to mention names because that's not how I get down. Well, I do get down like that, but I'm not going to do it tonight. Let me say it like that. and she overcame that, and so she is moving forward. And I mean, she won by 53% of the vote.
Yes,
This was
yes.
not, this sent a very clear message of 53% of the
Yeah.
vote in a 3-person race.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
congratulations to Miss Roberta Walton Johnson. The other person, and I talked to y'all about this, and I said, go and look at the video for yourself. And I'm talking about for the Orange County School Board chair. There was Gallo and there was Ferran, and I told y'all that you all uh, y'all like Miss Ferran, and listen, I get it. I mean, she talked a good game, but I told y'all go look at the video. There's
Yeah.
certain things that she said
Yeah, you
that
did. You did.
yeah, that I just didn't rock with, and she was defeated in her
And
in
the voters concur with you.
yeah, the voters concurred. That's right. We have another race that's going to be a very interesting race. You have Mike Scott, who's going to be going up against Lawana Gelzer. Lawana Gelzer is she may not be an elected official, but she is a seasoned candidate, and maybe she can find the way to get to the finish line. And I say that because if we look at the new district that has been carved out and put together. There's one person that that is coming up top. I know it's a Mike Crab, but then you also have Patricia Rump. And I'm gonna tell y'all this. And y'all know my history with Patricia Rump. Everybody that's watched Let's Talk Nation
Mm-hmm.
knows my history with Patricia Rump. But I'm gonna tell you, Patricia Rump has been in the community. Patricia
Yeah.
Rump, I think she has paid her dues. And while Shannon Curry
is paying dues the same as being qualified? Because
in District 6, District 7, yeah.
I am, and I say this to her face. She is one to me. Y'all know I call balls and strikes. She is one of the most underwhelming people I've ever met running for public office. I just can't see. I just can't see it as effective leadership.
But
And I'm speaking from a personal point of view.
I got you. But you know what? Here's something that all three of us, we've said this for the last 8.5 years. And think about this. And Doc, I hear and I respect what you say, but y'all remember when we always say, where do people go when they don't win?
Yeah. Yeah, Patricia Rump's always been there. But listen, let me say this. Hold on. Let me say this. Because I'm gonna be very clear about this. I called Patricia Rump. I called on her personal cell phone. I congratulated her for moving forward into the general election that's coming up in November. And I have committed to supporting Patricia Rump. I told her that whatever she needs from me, whatever support she needs from me, if I need to write some checks, if I need to raise some money, I'm going to do that because I was an adversary of Patricia Rump.
Greg,
and one of the things that I would say about,
who is she in that? Who is she?
I want to say a guy named Mike Crab. I don't know him, but a guy named Mike Crab and Patricia Rump. No, Mike, not Mike Scott, not Mike. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. That's Mike Crab and so Vargas, Vicky Vargas.
Oh, okay, that's who.
Yeah, Vicky Vargas. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right, Vicky Vargas. And I am. Listen, I understand. I know some folks that are getting behind Vicky Vargas. I don't have anything against Vicky Vargas, except I don't know her. She has not been out there on the ground in the community as much as I have seen Patricia Rump. And like I was saying, I am a former adversary of Patricia Rump because I ran against her.
Yeah.
And even when I ran against her, while I may not have always agreed with the things she said, there's one thing that I can say about her. She was always sincere. And sometimes sincerity will make up for what you lack in experience. But listen, we get behind her like we got behind Tiffany Moore Russell, because remember, she didn't have no experience when she first won 6. If we get behind her like we got behind any other candidate, she's gonna be all right. She's gonna be all right.
I kind of hold her in the same light of Lawana. I just do.
I ain't gonna let you do that, dog.
I don't.
I know Lawana. I know Lawana. I like Lawana, and I'm not gonna let you do that to Lawana. I ain't gonna let you do that to Patricia.
This is from my perspective on looking at both of them. Lawana has been there, but she's also has been very much a polarizing figure. Okay. And you can't sit there and say that she's not a polarizing figure because that's her brand. Okay.
But here,
either pro her or anti her.
iron sharpens iron. We could have these conversations, but here's the reality of where we're at. Patricia and Greg wasn't Vicky on a city
Yeah,
commission?
over in
Okay,
Maitland, if I
so,
remember right. Yeah.
so now you got two candidates. People got to make a decision on. You got Mike Crabb in 2 against Camille Brown. People got to make a decision on that. You got
Listen, and on that, Camille Brown has my full 100% support.
Yeah,
so
100% support.
She has experience,
Yeah.
and that speaks for something.
Well,
To
wait,
me.
let me change that. Let me change that. She has my full and complete support when she calls me. listen, when she calls, she got my full and complete support. Let me put it like that.
and so you mentioned in 6 you got Mike and Luana.
Yeah.
What other? Because it's like 5 seats that are up.
Yeah, I mean, so you have 2, you have 6, you have 7, you have 3. If I recall, is it 3 or 5? What seat was
won,
Uribe?
who won right now?
Oh, I think that was 3, but Greg, that's not up. That's gonna have to be a special election or an appointment.
That's right, because of how she resigned. But listen, so yeah, don't get me off my game. Don't try to get me off my game. So it may be a surprise to some, but it's not a surprise to me that Tiffany Moore Russell has advanced to the through by way of runoff to become Orange County mayor. Now I'm gonna tell you the shock to me. All right, the shock to me is not that Stephanie Murphy is not in the runoff, because I never thought that she had the chops to do that. Remember, I told y'all, I said the only person to win a county-wide election out of all of those candidates is Tiffany Moore Russell. I said it from the very beginning. From the very beginning, she's the only one. The next most impressive person to me after her was Myra Uribe, and so I thought there was going to be a battle between Myra and Tiffany. I never thought, despite what people think, the money I was raising, things like that, I never thought that that Stephanie Murphy would be in the runoff. That was just me. That was just me. Chris Messina?
Surprises.
Does anybody know who he is?
Surprises across the board, Greg, because when you look at that order, nobody really thought that order was going to.
That's the surprise. That's the surprise to me.
Well, how do you view him as her opponent in the general?
I don't know anything about him. That's the thing. Now I got to get up to speed and learn who this person is. I just know he's a business owner. I know that he was snubbed. If it was purposefully or not, I know he was snubbed in a lot of the debates. No one took him seriously. I didn't take him seriously. I'm not going to listen.
So great.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know who he is.
But when you say that, when you look at registered voters in Orange County, and majority of registered voters are Democrat. Then the next scale you have Republicans, but you got a lot of NPAs in Orange County as well.
Yeah, they're going Tiffany Moore Russell way. Remember, they couldn't vote. They couldn't vote in the primary because it's closed primary. Yeah. Listen, hear me when I say, because remember, the votes for Myra and the votes for Stephanie have to go somewhere, and they're not going to go to. Well, I don't know enough about Messina. They may go Messina's way. I just don't know. But I don't think that any one of those ladies, because the forum, the fireside chat that I moderated, I said that was one of the best. One of the best debates or fireside chats that I've ever done. They were all respectful of each other. They all knew the issues. And like I said, it was nothing personal as it relates to Stephanie Murphy. I was just looking at how they have campaigned and the areas that they have run in and what the numbers look like. It's always been strictly a numbers game. And I say that to say, because in the debates, very respectful, very knowledgeable. I thought that she would have brought a lot to the table. And if Tiffany Moore Russell and Myra Uribe were not in this race, it would have been easy for me to say Stephanie Murphy. But because of those two individuals, I couldn't say that.
Great. Let me ask you this question. Do you believe, and I guess this is two-part question because it's going to apply at the state level as well as Orange County. Do you think it's going to make any difference as it relates to the property tax amendment with voters if you're for it or against it as a candidate?
For who? For the candidates?
Yeah. Is it going to increase their support? I mean, what's your thoughts? What, Doc, you too?
In my mind, I don't think they should say whether they're for it or against it. What I think that they should say is that they have a plan if it passes. To say that for or against it at this point will not be helpful for them, because to say that you are for it says that you are for a Republican-led initiative. To say that you're against it does you no favors. So basically, just say, listen,
Yeah,
we're
I
preparing
agree.
for whatever happens. Yeah,
I agree with that because neither one of them will have a real say or impact on what happens.
right.
So to go and try to own or disown the issue is of no benefit.
No.
So
Well,
I
hey,
think
some good consultation advice right there. Hey, moving y'all forward,
No,
we
no,
got.
wait, don't go nowhere yet. Don't go nowhere yet. You keep trying to rush us through this thing now, brother Love.
I'm not ready.
Because listen, the battle lines have been drawn for the governor of the state of Florida. And while while it was a foregone conclusion for many of us, it is now official that Byron Donald is going to be facing Jolly, who is a former
And that's where I was
Republican.
going.
Now,
That's where I was going.
oh, you're going
okay.
there. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Let me
yeah.
take a step back. Go,
No.
brother Love.
Hey,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You already laid it out, but keep navigating because Greg, something by law has to take place. I believe by the 27th.
Hey, wait a minute. Where's your jacket?
Who, mine?
Yeah.
He get
Man,
a
I'm in a
demand. I
hotel
just
room.
noticed that, Doc.
Man, I'm in a hotel room. Man, you don't see this? Man,
Hey, I'm
in a
throwing
hotel
shade
room, man.
because I'm sitting up here itching because Ron make me put on the jacket all the time.
Hey, the conversation been so good, I didn't even notice the LTN policy. But hey, Greg, the 27th of this month, by law,
Yeah.
Byron Donalds has to select a running mate, right?
That listen, and people are waiting with bated breath because it's going to be interesting because that is going to determine. I mean, listen, although Republicans lead the Democrats by 1 million registered voters, who he selects as a running mate is going to determine if those million Republican voters are going to come his way or if they're going to stay at home. So I'm very interested. I mean, although I'm a Democrat, I'm very interested in seeing who he's going to tap as his running mate.
Let me break this down, and then I want to hear y'all perspective.
All
I
right.
believe North Florida has been a support for Republicans for decades.
Okay.
Central Florida has been the area where it flips sometimes. South Florida used to be a bastion for Democrats now, Greg, but now it's the bastion for Republicans. So if I had to make a guess, I would guess maybe somebody out of possibly Central Florida, but then I'm hearing South Florida. So what's your thought, Doc? And then Greg, round this out. I'm going with a selection from somebody.
I think
with,
here.
I think South Florida. I think Miami
we talk,
area.
Huh?
I think
We
the Miami
talked
area.
about this over. We talked about this over the weekend, and my point to Rod, Greg, was the way in which Donaldson is being dismissed as a black Republican is problematic for me, because people are saying, well, he's a black Republican and he's never going to pick up black issues. And my question to people who say that is, have you made the same demand of Jolly? Have you went to Jolly and said, what are you going to do about black issues? It's unfair to have that weight and place that expectation on Donaldson, and you haven't in turn placed that same one on the Democratic candidate. And that, I have a problem. And I was telling Rod yesterday, right now, I'm not voting for either one. I can't see myself going Jolly because I haven't seen anything that he brings to the table. Okay. Donaldson as a representative has a real resume. Whether we agree with him or not, he knows how to politic, and he knows how to represent. Okay. You don't vote for someone because they check all of your boxes. You got to vote your values. Okay. My biggest struggle with Donaldson for me is, this is me, it's just the MAGA association. That's it. Otherwise, I think I respect him because he's a person that carved his way. Okay. Nobody handed him this. It's hard to come from where he came from as the child of immigrants and get to where he is. So okay. It's not like he can't run.
Okay. So Greg, what's your thoughts?
So I mean, listen, I hear Doc, and Doc has the sentiment of a lot of African American Democrats out there. But this is what I'll say, because I met the man. I had a chance to
Mhm.
sit across the table from him and have a real conversation. And although there were 16, 17 of us in a room, it was 16 or 17 real concerns that were addressed by Byron Donalds. And I will say that I found him to be insightful, thoughtful, willing to listen, which is something that is very important. But the other thing too, though, and I'm gonna make it personal for a second, man. I'm gonna make it personal for a second. Anybody that goes to the highest of seven hills and spends a little time, I don't care if it's 2 weeks, and then they find their way across the tracks to Florida State University, is all right with me.
All right
So,
with you
look,
now.
if I could get me a Rattler slash Seminole, in the big house, in the governor's mansion, I have no problem with that. But all jokes aside, Donaldson is probably one of the smartest people that I met. And people will forget, and y'all may have forgotten this also. I don't know if y'all remember when Andrew Gillum announced that he was running for governor of the state of Florida, and him being the former mayor of Tallahassee. I got his phone number and I called him. I
Yeah.
got Donaldson. I mean, I got Andrew Gillum's number and I called him on the phone. Hey, listen, you the governor of my hometown. You talking about running for governor of the state of Florida? Talk to me. What you all about? Nice guy on the phone, but by the time I hung up the phone, I knew I couldn't vote for the guy. He came to a to the church, and he spoke at our church. Nice guy, shook his hand, got pictures with him and everything, but I knew when he left the church, I couldn't vote for the guy. I didn't see the substance. I didn't see what I saw when I sat down with Donalds. I mean, this guy, you got to sit down with him, and you will see what I see. But I think in terms of any concern about his understanding of issues, whether they're Black or community-based, you put those things aside. This guy, he has a full understanding of what's taking place. And, don't be fooled by him. He has a good understanding, man.
And Greg, I gotta, go ahead and echo what everything that you said, man. Sitting down across from this guy, listening to when he talked about technology innovations, talking about the direction that he wants to take Florida. I mean, it is one of our other friends that happened to be sitting in that room when he responded back to Congressman Donald and said, "Hey, I'm seeing somebody sitting in front of me that can get their arms around my issues." And if we talk about issues, when you look at John and you look at Donald's, here's just a couple of things, and y'all can give me your feedback if you think this is going to be the discussion. Property taxes are going to be an issue. Property insurance is going to be an issue. Housing affordability is something that we've been hearing for years. Education, public safety, and growth and infrastructure. Did I miss anything else that y'all think is going to be part of this conversation?
No,
Okay.
I got everything, but here's going to be the problem for Donald's, Doc, and let's just got to be real about it. The problem for Donald's is going to be that more Republicans voted against him than for him, and he's going to have to get those individuals to rally around him. In addition to, remember now, in addition to those MPAs, and if he gets a good number of the MPAs, he's fine. But if he doesn't, he's going to have to try to find a way to get that 17 or 18% of the African American Black male vote that Trump got. Now, I think he can do it, but listen, the sun is starting to set. The sun is starting to set. So
I agree with what you're saying, but I got another perspective.
yeah.
And if the Democrats were smart, that's a jab. If the Democrats
I called it too.
they would hang the last 30 years around the Republicans' neck, because all of those issues that you're talking about, Rod, has taken place under what? The Republican-led administration of Florida for the last 27 years.
Wait, Doc.
Yeah. Who been in charge for the last 27 years?
So we didn't
That's
have a
dangerous.
problem with it.
No,
We didn't have a problem with insurance before that.
No, what I'm saying is that the majority of those issues have been solvable or addressable up under Republican administration. Now, that's my point of view as a Democrat. The Democrats wouldn't have they held power in the state? When was the last time the Democrats held power in the state to address those issues?
What,
When was the last time?
27 years.
When was the last time
Republicans have been in charge?
Democrats held statewide office to address those issues? Because that's a real question. That's not hyperbole. This is a real issue. You can't blame Democrats for something that they don't have the power to address. Many of the pocketbook issues right now in Florida that Florida's dealing with are property insurance, okay, taxes. Those are all been issues for the last 27 to 30 years that need to be addressed. Affordability needs to be addressed. Healthcare needs to be addressed. And Republicans have had the House, okay? They had the Senate, and they've had the governor's office for the majority of that time. So you can't hang that on them.
So, Doc, so you're basically saying Florida has not been prospering over the last 27 years.
I didn't say that. I'm saying the crisis issues that you read your list.
But you know,
Go back to your list.
Oh, well, property tax.
Okay, who's been in office since property taxes have been a major problem for Floridians? This is taking place in the last 30 years.
You do realize one of the most major issues when you talk about a ballot initiative in Florida's history is going to be the property tax reform issue. You know that's
I get that. I get that, but it's still not going to address the crisis.
But that's why you elect leaders. That's why you elect leaders to get in there to address those issues.
But it's still even the current legislation that we're going to vote on in November still does not reduce it that much. It reduces it some, but it doesn't take it out of crisis mode. It's still going to be a problem for many Floridians paying those property taxes. It's upping the exemption, yes, but when you're sitting in when you bought your house back in 1981, and your house you bought your house for $110,000. Now your house is valued at $900,000, but you get a reduction. It's still a cost there. There's still a greater cost on that property. Well, because you might get reduced. It might be the first $250,000 off of it. Isn't that what they're talking about now? The first $250,000, something like that.
Okay, it's graduated, yeah.
Yeah. So that's still okay. So you're talking about let's say 900. So I still got $650,000 of taxes that I
go ahead and jump into this issue, because this issue that you're talking about directly impacts and affects local government. And so the conversation now is,
and now my services in my community are gonna be cut. Because you know the first thing that they're gonna address when they don't have that tax money, they gotta cut some services.
So now remember, when you talk about the property tax issue, you're only talking about homestead. I mean, you still have commercial taxes. And when people really truly look at it, so they did an analysis in one of the municipalities that I do some work in, and what they thought was going to be a devastating hit because of the amount of development that's going to be taking place, they're actually going to get net gain over time because it doesn't really touch the commercial tax, property tax, and so it's going to be a hit, and some people are going to be hurt. But I don't know. What's the guy's name that you're supposed to get in contact with, Brother Love, that was coming up with these ideas about how to supplement stuff?
You're talking about over in one of the issues was increasing sales tax. But Doc, but Doc, when you say what you say about reducing your public safety and things of that nature, those are the nucleus. You got to talk. So you're basically saying there's not other areas of government that can be cut without impacting you. Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, I'm not saying that. But historically, service-based health has been the first to face cuts.
Oh yeah, I agree with you on that.
I'm not saying that there's not other places that they can cut, not at all. But what I'm saying, usually the service or what's seen as health is the first place they look or go to in order to cut costs.
You can actually save money if you outsource a lot of those human services issues that you're talking about.
Exactly. But they're not going to do that. Because think about
you haven't had Attorney Greg Jackson go up and present before the commission yet now, so you can't say that too quick.
Listen, we see you and I have both been connected to government entities and work for government entities, and we know the politics that follows certain divisions of government, if you will. And there's some departments that will get cut and some that won't.
And you're right. You're right. Hey, real quick, because I see Greg, Doc, can you articulate why the ballot language had to be changed for property tax reform?
I don't know that.
Greg, are you familiar?
I mean, I'm familiar with it. I can't articulate it probably the way that it should be at this juncture, but there was some issue with the language and what it led people to believe, because it was like the Save Our Homes Act, but it was not really geared to save homes. It's really to address how you reduce the ad valorem taxes, or how you reduce state taxes from ad valorem. So yeah.
Interesting information. There was a poll that was done.
The wording was misleading or something.
But there was a poll that was done prior to the poll being done. 60% of voters thought the language was good. After it was rewritten, 65% of voters think it's written better. So I don't know if that's any indication of where this thing goes.
No, don't get excited. Don't get excited.
I know.
Because listen, you're saying 65% of them thought that the language was better. That still does not take away from the fact that 37% of those individuals, or 30% of the people, don't like this initiative.
Yeah, you got a point. But all it needs to pass, Greg, and that is cutting
it's 60 though.
It's 60%. So you got 63.
Listen. If you lose by 1 point or 50 points,
you're right.
Which is worse?
You're right.
A loss is a loss.
Yeah.
Okay. A loss is a loss.
You know, do y'all know? Are y'all familiar with the term Eli 10?
What's that?
Nah.
Eli 10 means explain it like I'm 10.
Okay.
And do you know why this is an AI term? And you can, if you're asking AI a question, you can put /Eli10, and it will explain it to you like you're a 10-year-old.
That's AI?
Yeah. Do you know why? Because most American people function at a 10-year-old comprehension level. That's the 5th grade.
Wow.
And so that's how that term came about.
So I learned something. Hey, real quick, Attorney Greg Jackson, we know you're on a case, but a lot of folks sometimes don't realize that you are one of the lead attorneys with the law firm of Dan Newland. So let folk know how they can get a hold of you, man, should they need your services.
Listen, if they need my services, all I got to do is dial 407-564-6604. That's the direct link to me. You can call or text me that number. But like I said, right now, you know, my main focus is trying cases, man. I like being in the trenches. I like slaying dragons, man. So.
Slaying dragons. Hey, and that's the gladiator there. Hey, Doc, can you tell people about?
Wait a minute. I need to pitch something to my attorney. Now I'm talking to my attorney now. Can you? No. I need to talk to you right after the show. So call me, please. Don't forget now.
Doc, what about those grapes?
All I need 3 minutes.
Doc, tell people about those grapes. Doc, those grapes.
What grapes?
Oh, you forgot about them grapes you've been harvesting?
Oh, man. Look, the wine is in the bucket.
What kind of grapes are those, Doc?
They're muscadine grapes.
Muscadine. Greg,
Greg, you got your little lake ridge. You got your little lake ridge going on over there.
Hey, yeah. So, but I got some for you and some jelly. Greg, I made some jelly.
Really?
And wine.
With muscadine grapes?
Yeah.
Oh, that should be good.
The wine will be ready by the middle of next month.
Hey man, go ahead and bring me my ripple.
There you go.
Bring me my ripple.
Listen, Attorney Greg Jackson.
I took the time out.
Congratulations to St. Paul AME for his 139-year history, man. A great program the other night, brother.
And listen, you know, and let's not slide by this. I heard, Brother Love, that you did an outstanding job, and I was hearing rave reviews when I was at church yesterday, man. Everyone appreciates you for what you did, man, and I appreciate you for stepping in, brother. Thank you, man.
When my brother called me, I answered the call. Hey, y'all don't have to go home,
but you got to get out of here.
We'll see y'all next time on Let's Talk Nation. Talk to you later.